Okay, in this lesson we're going to be talking about what matrices are and doing some basic operations with matrices. So objective one, going to just define a matrix and then name its key parts, its key elements. And then objective two, we're going to perform matrix addition, subtraction, and this thing called scalar multiplication. Not the same thing as matrix multiplication, it's actually a little bit easier. And then finally, objective three, we're going to solve a matrix equation. So this first objective is just about what is a matrix? What is a matrix? And the image there, of course, is taken from the movie The Matrix, which asks exactly that same exact question. What is the matrix? But unfortunately, nobody can be told what a matrix is. You have to be shown. So let me show you what a matrix is. So a matrix, all it is a whole bunch of numbers. You put it into a rectangle, right? So what it says is a rectangular array, like an arrangement of numbers, and we arrange them in rows and columns. Okay, so there's an example, matrix A there, and note down at the bottom, in all caps, we usually name a matrix with capital letters. So I have capital letter A, and then I have a matrix. I have an arrangement of numbers in rows and columns, okay? And we usually put them in square brackets. Rectangle and square brackets, right? Okay, so the dimensions of a rectangle, the dimensions of a matrix, we always write it as m times n, where m and n, they're just numbers. M is the number of rows, and n is the number of columns. Okay, we're always going to read across before we read down, right? We're not Chinese anyway. So this is how, if I look at the size of this thing, how many rows are there? There are 2 rows, so I'm going to write this as a 2 by, and there are 1, 2, 3 columns, like columns on the building holding the thing up. This is a 2 by 3 matrix. And you have all different kinds of sizes of matrices, and this is a rectangular matrix. What do you think a square matrix is going to look like? Anyway, so the dimensions, what we just said, that 2 by 3 is often called the order of the matrix rather than the dimensions, means the same thing. So those two things are synonyms, dimensions and order. Okay, and to help you remember how to name a matrix, because it's going to be very important for you to name the dimensions, the order, in the correct order, just think of your favorite soft drink. America's favorite soft drink is RC Cola, Royal Crown Cola. Just look at that advertisement. She is really into RC Cola, just as you should be. RC, rows times columns. Now, I don't think that you'll ever forget it. RC Cola. Kind of makes you a bit thirsty. Anyway, a couple more things. You got an element. An element is just each one of the numbers inside the matrix. So there's an element that's highlighted there, number 5. It is in the first row in the 3rd column. Okay. And then I think this is the last thing about, at least the vocabulary of it, is I'm only going to be able to say that 2 matrices are equal to each other if they have the same exact dimensions and all the corresponding elements are the same. Okay, that just makes sense. In order for 2 matrices to be the same, they have to look the same, got to have the same numbers in them. Okay, so what I want you to do on this first and last exercise of this video is, number 1, I want you to write your own 2 by 3 matrix. And number 2, I want you to write yourself a 3 by 2 matrix so that you can see the difference between those 2 matrices. Okay, so go ahead and pause it, write something down, unpause it, come back, and let's see if you wrote down the correct matrix, or at least the size. Okay, so take a look at my sample matrix. For my 2 by 3, I have 2 rows, right? And I have 3 columns going down. So there's my 2 by 3 matrix. You might have different numbers in there. And then over here for my 3 by 2 matrix, take this one and kind of turn it on its side. I have 3 rows, and I've got 2 columns holding the thing up. Okay, so that concludes the first video on just simply, hey, what is a matrix? It is an arrangement, a rectangular arrangement of numbers. We put them in rows and columns, and we put square brackets around them, and we name the thing by its rows and its column while we're drinking, when we're sipping on our Royal Crown RC Cola.